come here, we want you to get involved. Work on these race vehicles with other combat veterans so you can get out there and do these dangerous off-road races. That whole risk factor, you know, they want to feel alive again. It's just a common thing with combat veterans. They want that feel, that high they had in combat, that extreme adrenaline rush, being here in this environment. It is like a mission. Everyone has a job, they feel part of the team. There's nothing we can't accomplish. I was born in Killeen, Texas in 1976. But I grew up in Arizona, so I lived out in the desert. Riding dirt bikes and off-road vehicles was kind of my thing. When I was 19, I graduated. I wasn't going to college. Something inside of me said, you know, I need to do something with my life. Joining the Marine Corps is one of the best decisions of my life. Some of my first deployments were around the world in various countries, humanitarian missions. That was a great experience. But when 9/11 happened, my world was turned upside down. I got orders to go to the School of Infantry at Camp Pendleton. I taught Marines how to fight and survive in combat. And in that environment is where I met Amman.
When I first met Nick, everybody knew who he was because he cared about his team, and he was just one of the guys that, you know, people relate with him. But the minute he spoke, he commanded authority. In 2005, Nick and I came out of the School of Infantry. That deployment was interesting.
We're operating in enemy territory, creating our own little base. We call it a FOB, forward operating base. Communications went down. Well, I had to stay calm and troubleshoot the radio. I lean over to try to look at that screen. My hand's up here, boom. Everything goes black.
We were not present, you know, like where he exactly got hit. But when we hear, hey, who's the one that got hit? That's when they said, hey, Nick got hit. And we're like, crap, is he okay?
And remember, my legs hurting really bad. I lose both my legs. And I look over, my driver's gone, my gunner's gone, the guy I had, the Marine I had in the back was gone. The next thing I know, I woke up in this tent hospital in Iraq, and they're like, hey, we took you into surgery. We're not really sure if we're gonna save your leg. My first combat deployment, and now the worst pretty much happens to me, and I knew that was gonna change me forever. I was drinking too much, and I ended up getting divorced. I took a look in the mirror, like, I'm going down the wrong path. I'm going through the recovery process, and I'm so focused on trying to get healthy again. You know, I was never 100% physically due to my injuries, but I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it. So in 2007, almost less than 2 years later, I was back in Iraq. I faced my fears, I did my job, and I didn't let mentally myself kind of become a recluse or think I couldn't do it. My new goal was to kind of change my path that I thought I was gonna be on. So whatever that was inside me, that resiliency, that's what drove me saying, hey, help other people. So I had this idea, I'm gonna build this chopper with some other combat vets that are wounded, and that's what we took to the SEMA show in 2011.
We have a few things, like the tips of a 50 caliber sniper rifle. We have a 90 millimeter artillery shell there as our headlamp.
All those combat vets that helped me do that saw the change that happened to me. They knew my story, I knew their story. We had that brotherhood, that camaraderie, and talked about all the good, the bad, the ugly while building this motorcycle. And after that SEMA show, they all came to me like, hey, let's keep doing this. So I was able to create the Warrior Build Foundation, put a name to it, get volunteers, come up with other ideas besides building a motorcycle. We started doing the off-road racing and everything we do today. Our first major off-road race was the BAJA 1000, and we did that in 2013. It's like the Wild Wild West down there. You could be on that motorcycle 100 miles from nothing. It's just open, wide desert. We got plenty of guys around the pit crew kind of helping out when they do come in and switch riders out and they go again. It's so much adrenaline that comes in there, and you got to be there to support each other. Our facility has grown immensely. We moved into this building in 2014. I like to call it a multi-purpose facility because it's open every day. Vets can come here and use our tools and equipment to work on their own motorcycles, cars, or whatever it is. There's no charge to the combat veteran at all. It's all through donations and through our different sponsors that support the charity and help us keep this mission alive. We've actually had some amputees race with us, whether it's an arm amputee or leg amputees. We'll make whatever accommodations we have to for those guys. Sometimes it's modifying the grip, sometimes it's doing stuff with the shift levers. There's all kinds of little things we can do just to make it more accommodating for them, and it's kind of fun for us. You know, we kind of got to figure it out and a little trial and error. So the Word Belt Foundation is basically recreational therapy. It's about sparking their motivation. It's about in the shop, off-road racing, you know, getting guys together, that camaraderie, that brotherhood, to bring people together, do something fun and exciting.
For me, Warrior Belt gives me freedom. I've grown to love everyone that's here, that participates in a lot of the events. They're my fellow brothers in arms.
It's not just a bunch of guys that ride haulers, it's just a bunch of guys that are a band of brothers that are here helping each other out emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. It may be the outward look that draws you in, but after you get drawn in, there's other intangible things that help you live a more positive life.
If I never started Warrior Belt, honestly, it'd be hard for me to imagine it right now because how much it's bringing to my life, how many new friends I've met, how many people I've helped, and through all that, how much that's helped me. I'm married again and I had 2 more beautiful little girls in my life, and life's 100% different. I can't even fathom like not doing this on a daily basis. I used to be First Sergeant Hamm in the United States Marine Corps, and now I get to be Nick Hamm, a guy who's helping others through his charity. And giving back and helping others, I think is the most human thing we can do.